Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
You're listening to The Kim Komando Show for the weekend of April 19th, 2025. Here's Hour 4.
Okay, see if you know this answer. What was the first major movie put out on DVD? Okay, what was it? Now, if you guess Twister, you're right. Can you guess the year? Okay, 1997. Yeah, it was one of the films that helped launch the DVD format. 27 years later, Twister is now the last DVD that Redbox just can't seem to let go of. I don't know if you know this, but Redbox parent company, they went under. And so now you have hundreds of thousands of DVDs. They were just liberated from these kiosks all over the country, except for Twisters. Like, what's going on? They can't get Twister out of these red boxes. All right, maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's a licensing issue. The top theory is that Twister's licensing likely expired ahead of the sequel. I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Yes, that's right. Hey, buckle up, Buttercup, because you are about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're not tech smart, you're going to be tech left behind in the dust. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. You just tapped into the biggest show. It's the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find us as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for my last name, Komando. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Hey, just a reminder that great sponsors help to make this show possible. And if you're looking for those money-saving deals, the promo codes, and the special links, just head to one spot. That's komando.com/sponsors. Alrighty, then every single day I just dive into 35 or 45 different sources to make sure that we're up to date on what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know that are happening right now. And we're going to start with artificial intelligence. I know the past 2 years have been quite a ride, but remember, AI's vast knowledge base was stolen, it was hijacked, it was plagiarized. You know, you can use whatever phrase that you want. The bottom line, it was taken without the permission of the creators, and they've never received a dime for it. And yeah, they're fed up. I know, I am too. You know, AI knows absolutely nothing except whatever we've taught it or allowed it to learn. All the materials that it's learned from, I'm talking about countless books on law and medicine, philosophy, history, tech, mathematics, lectures, plays, movies, novels, art. You know, the entire range of human knowledge was created by real people who have seen their hard work stolen from them. So now comes the questions. Who's going to compensate them? Who will they sue? How do we set right the largest theft in history? I bet you never thought about that. All right, moving on to number 2. If you ever find yourself in a lawsuit in need of an expert witness, here's why your expert should never use an AI chatbot. During a real estate lawsuit in New York, an expert witness was testifying about how much money his client should be paid for damages in a deal gone bad. The judge interrupted to ask exactly how the so-called expert arrived at his conclusions. Well, under oath, the embarrassed expert had no choice but to reveal that, well, he used Microsoft's Copilot AI chatbot. Then came the question, where did Copilot get its information? Most chatbots won't say because, as always, we talked about, the answers are stolen from copyrighted sources. So the lesson here is always verify any and all answers before AI will just embarrass you, because it will. All right, moving on to number 3, let's talk about influencers, or at least a million reasons not to trust these so called social media influencers. And this new one may even help influencers break the law. Many social media influencers are paid in some way for a positive review or to endorse a product. And not a problem if they tell you up front, but most don't. Well, enter a new type of, well, let's call it a credit card. It's black and gold, and it looks like the almost impossible to get American Express Black Card. But this card comes from something called the OTH network, short for On the House. So influencers will write good things about restaurants and stores and then use this card to trade the good publicity for expensive dinners and merchandise. So, of course, the deal. The Federal Trade Commission is very clear about this. When an influencer gets paid in any way to endorse a product, they should tell you. They have to tell you. Yeah, but influencers don't do that. All right, moving into number 4. Every few years, some tech writer falls for another flying car story. They believe that they're onto something new and that flying cars and taxis are almost here. Once in a while, a major publication is even going to print it, like the Washington Post. But let me tell you, these stories are just hogwash. Self-driving cars or taxis for commercial and private use are at least a decade away, maybe even longer. So all these glowing articles are aimed at these investors looking for a quick buck. They're not real. Okay, a flying car is technically possible, but it's just not feasible right now, not without a full set of FAA rules, and they're endless. You've got pilot requirements, airworthiness certificates. Even Waymos don't really work the right way yet. And government agencies, you know this, like the FAA, they move so incredibly slow. And finally, this, coming in at number 5. When's the last time that you argued with your husband, your wife, your partner, your roommate, your significant other? And did you win? Believe it or not, people are turning to ChatGPT as their personal argument sidekick. Here's how it works. Maybe you're fighting over dishes or laundry, or maybe they didn't take the trash out, whatever it is. The partner sneaks off, types your words into ChatGPT, and then comes back with, wow, just an incredible clapback. One guy on Reddit shared that every time he and his girlfriend argue, she sneaks away and she turns to ChatGPT. Then she comes back with this flawless AI-crafted breakdown of his words. Oh, and it's like she just wins every single time. He says he feels like he's being ambushed. And then Chatbot supposedly called him insecure and emotionally immature. So, just remember that ChatGPT isn't exactly neutral. I mean, here are some things that you don't want to say. You don't even need AI. I mean, like, for example, I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. Okay, you don't want to say that. Or how about, let's not argue about who's right. Let's just argue that I am. Okay. Or how about this one? If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait a little longer. Wow. Yeah, definitely don't want to use those. All right, coming up, we have a cheap tech tool that will help you spot whether a used car has ever been in an accident. And a question, what's cheaper, Airbnb or a hotel? I think the answer is going to shock you. And then later on, your family's secret code. It's really something that you need to start thinking about. And of course, we have just the best callers in the history of talk radio. And you have me, Kim Commando. Oscar in Austin, Texas. Welcome to the show today.
Right.
Yes. What's going on?
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for your many years of expertise. I really appreciate it. And this is the first time I'm calling, and I thought that you would be the right person to answer my question.
Well, tell me what's happening. And thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. So there is a lot happening, but basically what it comes down to is that I'm calling on behalf of my daughter, and for the last 2 years, there's an individual that we happen to know who it is that has been impersonating my daughter, mostly using text. And she's reached out to numerous individuals, mostly friends, and there's different occurrences that have happened, but basically He will make up things. He'll have conversations, sometimes lengthy ones, sometimes daily ones. He's gone to the extent of actually, I would have to say, almost ruining her life.
It's awful.
And it is. And there's been at least 2 or 3 major incidents with that. So not only has she lost friends, or not only has friends started to look at her differently, but more important than that is that it's really impacting her mentally, because she just feels like she can't do anything without, this person really getting this information from her. And we do think that this individual, we're pretty sure that this individual happens to have my daughter's old MacBook. We're just puzzled as to how he's able to intercept texts and read text, and even what we think he may even be monitoring her location through Find Me.
And you know what? If he has access to an older MacBook, and he has access to her, at that point he'll probably have access to her iCloud account.
Yes.
That would give him access to just about everything: her messages, her Find My, her mail, her contacts, her calendars, her reminders. I mean, think about everything on your iCloud account.
That's exactly what we're afraid of, and we do feel that has happened. He has gone to the length of, sending her friends information saying that she's pregnant when she's not pregnant.
Just a weirdo wacko.
Yeah, he's obsessed, and we have gone to the police. She just had a recent occurrence that has impacted her, and it's all been because of this cyber threat that she's facing. So really my question is okay, I don't feel comfortable that the police is going to have either the resources, time, effort to do this investigation. So I'm looking for someone who I can hire that could possibly get this information. Unfortunately, like with the MacBook, we don't have the serial number, unfortunately.
Oh, wait, but here's the deal. Is that your daughter still has, obviously, an iPhone, right?
Right.
Okay. And does she have a MacBook again? Another one?
Yes.
Okay.
She does.
So what you do is, and I can send you all this, is that you go into the iCloud settings, and then you can review, and you can toggle off any apps that she's not using. You can look at all the devices that are signed into her iCloud account, and then boot them out.
Okay.
She could get rid of her whole iCloud account and start a new one, and then anything associated with that iCloud account would be gone. She can just remove that, delete that account.
Mm-hmm.
She can change the password, do 2-factor authentication. At this point, I would try to sever every tie I could with that MacBook that's in this guy's possession.
Yeah, and I would say we're definitely late to the game. I understand in all of that, and we will still do that. But really more important now is that now we're at a point where we have to gather this evidence and present it to the police, because we have to press charges. It's gotten that important. We had an incident where this was earlier this year, where via texting that he was doing, he panicked my daughter's friend to the point where he made my daughter's friend feel like my daughter had just tried to commit suicide. And he texted saying, "I'm bleeding out." It was 2 a.m, Kim. We had police at our door. They ran through, make sure, and all because of the texting that he did. And they wouldn't believe us that it wasn't us. They almost hauled off my daughter.
Yeah, see, and that's the problem, Oscar, is that the police are overwhelmed right now. They are. They're just overwhelmed with these type of situations. And let me tell you, there's pros and cons to this. Has he threatened her life, your daughter's life, or anybody else's life?
Has he?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He has.
All right. Then we need to press charges. I'm just telling you that.
Right.
Because now we need to make sure that we preserve evidence. So, and we need to make sure we have documentation of everything along the way, because if once you sever
Right.
that iCloud, and then everything's just hasta la vista, baby. Now,
Well,
we do have I do have a friend of the show who can help you. I don't know how much he charges, but we put you on hold, we're gonna tell you who it is, because I don't want to give him just a free commercial, type of thing on a national
no,
radio
no,
show,
sure.
and he does charge, but I will tell
Sure.
you that he is. If I were in a situation, I would call him. It's-
I'm going to call him as soon as I can. Actually,
Okay.
I am
So-
at that point.
So I'm gonna put you on hold, and then we're gonna get your contact information. Then we'll loop back and give you. I'll tell you who it is. His name is Rico Danielson. He does great work. He really does. He was with the military, when getting cell phone numbers of the Taliban, and then now he runs a cybersecurity company, and he's helped several of our listeners here of the show and viewers of the show on figuring out who a stalker actually is. Does he take every case? Nope. Can't. Just can't do it. There's not enough time in the day. But like I said, if I were in a predicament like this, I would definitely just reach out to Rico. So, Oscar, hang on the line. Make sure that we have all your contact information, and then we'll be sure to loop back with you, as I mentioned, and get you the information that you need to contact Rico. And do keep us posted, by the way. Always want to hear how these things end up. And if I can lend a hand again, Oscar, just give me a call. All right. If your iPhone is dead, is there anything you can do with it? Yeah, this is going to surprise you. First up, you can still make a transaction. If you have Apple Pay set up on your iPhone, you can still make purchases even if your phone is not on. You just hold your phone near the card reader, and then boom, you're just good to go. Next on the list, emergency services. All mobile phones in the United States are required by law to be able to make emergency calls, even if they're not activated or if they don't have a SIM card. You just hold down the side button, of course. And finally, Apple Find My. If other Apple devices are nearby, the Find My app can pinpoint the location of your lost iPhone. All right, stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls coming up that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, what's cheaper? Is it an Airbnb or is it a hotel? Okay, the answer I think is going to really surprise you. And then later on, it's something that I've done with my family to make sure that we're all tech smart and tech safe. And I'm going to be passing that along to you, so you don't want to miss that. And before we go back to all of your phone calls, you should know everything about a car before you buy it. But sellers don't make it easy to understand, right? I mean, you could get a report like a Carfax, but are all the problems really on that report? So that's why you need to check out what's called a paint thickness gauge or meter. So you see, when a driver gets into an accident and they need to fix the problem, they go to a body shop, of course. Then the technicians will fix the damage and smooth it out, and then what? Like spray it down. After they spray it down with paint, the car looks brand new. That's why you need to get something called a paint meter. It can detect the thickness of paint in microns, which is the automotive manufacturing industry's standard form of measurement. So what you need to know is that 25.4 microns make up 1 mil. So here's how it works. You place the paint meter on top of the car, and you find a steel panel underneath the body. Now, your car will not have steel underneath every square inch of the fiberglass finish. Then what you do is you detect the micron or the mil level. Alrighty then, let's go back to your great phone calls with Nancy in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, my hometown. Hi there, Nancy. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
See?
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call.
You betcha.
I just purchased a refurbished iPad 9 for my 11-year-old grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Who's afraid to fly, so he keeps busy on his mom's phone to detract him. Anyway, I'm wondering if you could give me some information on the proper way for me to set up this new iPad for him, as far as for an 11-year-old, security-wise.
Sure.
And
Before we talk about this, why is he afraid to fly?
Why? Oh, because he's 11 years old.
Well,
he's flown a lot now.
Well, because, one of the things that they do, and, I'm in Phoenix, you're in Phoenix, and most airports do this, is they have a pretty comprehensive program to get people over a fear of flying. Meaning they show them airplanes, they have simulators, they talk to pilots, and to really get them over that hump so that this way that they're not afraid. I have a friend of mine who, he's now 40, and really up until the point where he was like 35, he did not want to get on a plane. I mean, how limiting is that? I mean, he would have to drive cross country. So I was telling him about this program at Sky Harbor, and he went through it, and now he's flying. Now you can't get him off a plane. It's like, what? So you just
how do you get hold of the information for that?
I would just call the public information office at Sky Harbor Airport and just say, I've got an 11-year-old that's afraid to fly. What kind of programs do you have at the airport where I can bring him down and have him meet a pilot and, talk to, some folks. Most of them are retired that work these programs, but hey, that's okay. It's all good because we got to get them over that. Now, as far as an 11-year-old with an iPad, there are so many great things that you can do. There's full parental controls that you can put on this iPad. So you can set screen time, you can set restrictions for TV shows, movies, apps, disable in-app purchases. We'll send you some links to this, as well as you have content restrictions too. So of course we don't want him to head over to any adult websites while he's doing this. Now, since he's going to be on a plane, and unless you want to pay, $15, $20 every time he gets on the plane to get Wi-Fi, is that you're going to be downloading shows for him to watch either from YouTube or Apple TV Plus, Netflix, Disney, you name it. And then you can also load it. You can also load it up with some educational apps too. Find out who his favorite characters are, and then see if there are any apps along the way. Like, of course, I'm sure he plays Minecraft and Roblox.
Nope, I don't think so.
He doesn't?
They are restricted from watching videos. They're trying to keep them away from that.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's going to, you know what? Then you're going to want more apps that will maybe not let him play games or watch videos as much as something that's going to spark some creativity.
Right. That'd be good.
So maybe some where he can draw and maybe some puzzle games. I mean, I don't know what he's into, but you could just search the App Store with that. But But
Sure.
just setting up the basic parental controls is the place for you to start. And so what we'll do is I'll send you over some steps for at least to get you started. And then if you need any help afterwards, Nancy, I'm here for you. And again, check out that program at the airport. I bet you that's really going to help the little guy. And thanks for your call today. All right, when Airbnb and Vrbo first hit the scene, it was terrific. I mean, it's so much cheaper than staying at a hotel. But hotels are coming back. A UK-based consumer research group called Which compared the average price of thousands of hotels with 300,000 Airbnb and Vrbo listings. They also looked at 50 locations over a year to monitor these price trends. What they found, this is amazing, hotels were less expensive 75% of the time. Why? Because major U.S. cities are now placing more restrictions on Airbnb rentals, making it more difficult for property owners to turn a profit, and they're jacking up the rates. It's not just the U.S. The most significant price difference, like for example, is in Greece. So bottom line here is you want to check Airbnb and Vrbo, but you also want to check out to see if a hotel nearby is having an amazing deal. All right, still to come, your family secret code and more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. If you're ever worried about the safety of your home and family, there's no better time to act than right now, because you can get 60% off a new Simply Safe system at simplysafekim.com. It's a great security system. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Let's see, Kimberly in Davenport, Iowa. Hi there.
Yeah, I listen to your show every weekend, and I thought, maybe you could help me with this issue I have with Facebook Marketplace. Apparently, I've been banned from it, and I understand why. But the problem was that everybody else seems to be able to sell walkers and wheelchairs and canes and things like that. But I tried too many times, and they banned me. And
so what do you mean? Wait, whoa, back up. Okay, you said other people are doing this and nothing's happening to them, but I do this and I got banned. Why do you think you got banned?
I don't know. I probably tried too many times, but I'd see other people. I mean, I bought some of these items off of Facebook Marketplace originally for my mom, and then I want to turn around and sell them, and they claim that like medical devices aren't something you can sell on there. But yet I took like 10 screenshots of wheelchairs and walkers, and for some reason they just wouldn't allow me. And then I think the more I did it, I probably was flagged or something. But I'd ask for a review.
That was probably it.
Yeah, I'd ask for a review, and they'd review it and say that, yep, you still broke our policy, so now you're banned. And I don't know, for how long or when, and I can't figure out any way to talk to them. I mean, I'm fine with not doing it, but I want to make sure they know that they're allowing a lot of that to happen anyways.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that we have a company like Facebook that we just can't get a hold of. There's nobody you can talk to.
Right.
I mean, imagine if this was the airline, any other company in any other industry, but for some reason when we talk about internet companies, we just accept the fact that we can't talk to anybody. I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But Facebook is changing. They have something called Verified, and we'll send you a link to it, that if you want to talk to somebody, you have to pay them. Okay.
Oh, my.
And it's under the guise of getting a verified account. So what you do is you sign up, you want your account verified, and then what comes with that is a tech support number that, again, as I mentioned, it's going to cost you $15 a month. If you don't want to do that, you can try to reach out to Facebook using their social media accounts, such as Twitter or Facebook Messenger. And that's where you can attach any information, and maybe you'll get somebody who's compassionate and who's reading your message, and they'll try to get back to you. Your other option is to use other sites, maybe eBay or Craigslist, or I don't know. Have you ever tried OfferUp?
Yeah, I have. I've had, even when I had access to Marketplace, sometimes I'd put it out on other sites too. And, that's just not, at least in my community, that doesn't seem to be, maybe as known. I've never really, I think I sold like one thing. So yeah, I've increased my use of that and nothing. Craigslist, I was able to sell walkers and wheelchairs, but that's about it so far. So it seems like the Marketplace really is a good thing. for me.
Well, because, you have a lot of people in your community that are hanging out in the same spot and with the same, zip codes in the same areas. And, so it makes it a lot easier to do that. You might want to try reaching out to Facebook social media, as I mentioned, or as I said, you can try to get that verified account. This way you can at least talk to somebody over there. Hang on the line. We're going to shoot you that link, and it's at meta.com. It's called Meta Verified in case you want to Google search that. And, you may try looking at some other ways that people are getting around Facebook's standard about not selling medical gear. And if they're doing it, I don't know how they can do it and you can't. So maybe you had some things in your ad that got flagged, or as you said, that you just tried way too many times. Kimberly, thank you so much for your call today. I appreciate you getting through. Let's see. We have some time. Jeff in Bozeman, Montana. Hi there, Jeff.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call. It's an honor to speak to you.
Well, thank you, Jeff. What's going on?
Well, I had a question. Actually, I was looking for an app or a program or something that would, where you could enter in, say, vitamins, dosages. I mean, maybe take a picture of the bottle or whatever. But I would also like to include medicines. So looking for interactions with supplements that would give you warnings, dosage warnings. So, I mean, just one place. I look and I see lots of reminder type apps, pill apps, like my parents take different pills throughout the day, 3 times a day, once a day, whatever. And it would really make it nice for them, but as well as really the vitamin piece, because I take a few things and it'll say, like, if you take a Lipitor, you're not supposed to eat grapefruit, just little simple things. It would be all in one spot.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of, that's where you'd come to like RX Drug or use a website for that. Right. I think there's a lot of liability if they were to put this in an app, and then it would, if you're taking this, you shouldn't take this, you shouldn't take that. There is something called MedSafe medication management, though. MediSafe is what it's called. It is an app that does give you drug interaction warnings. I'm not sure if it handles supplements, though. That's my question. I'd have to do a little bit of homework with this one. But you can try MediSafe. It's called MediSafe Medication Management. It does do the reminders like you talked about, and it's like a personal health journey, and that's what they call it. And they also have some drug interactions. But you're right. I mean, you do have to be careful with the supplements. That's why when you go to the doctor, they say, okay, you need to tell us every single thing that you're taking, up to and including cod liver oil. I mean, because, that's what I take. So that's why that came to mind. And CoQ10 or whatever else that may be on your plate. But you know what? Let me do some work on this because I'm not sure if it handles supplements, but I know that it does drugs.
Supplements, it's like wild west out there. They're not controlled, and
exactly.
They say it may do this, it may do that, which means it probably doesn't do that, or they'd say it does do it.
Well, yeah, and it's not controlled by the FDA, right?
Exactly.
And so that's why when you do buy supplements, you really have to make sure that you're buying them from a legit company, and you can't look at all the claims that they may be making as much as you just have to do your own research, which is what I do. Like, for example, I only buy supplements made by a company called Thorne, Thorne, because in my research, they are the ones that are making sure that that's exactly what's in that pill is exactly what you're getting, because your body is a machine. And we want to make sure that we give it the best stuff around. But then the supplements, you do have to be careful, especially if you're taking some prescription drugs as well, that sometimes they can exasperate it. I mean, we all know this. But let me see if there's an actual app that will track prescriptions and supplements. I've never looked for one for myself, but it's an interesting question. Now, if any of you are listening, you're like, hey, Kim, I use this app to do this. Make sure you just drop me a note. Head over to commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. That's the best place for me to see it. I know so many folks, you're like, okay, leave it on social media, but you can do that. But I'm just like overwhelmed in life and all these different places and things that I have going on right now. So commando.com and then just hit email Kim. But again, we're looking for an app that does where you can put in your pharmaceutical drugs, you can put in your supplements, And then they'll give you big red flags if they are not supposed to be all taken together. And so we're going to add up all the prescription drugs, all the supplements, and then they're going to tell us what's bad with it. Jeff, thanks for your call today. As soon as we find out something, we'll let you know too. Hey, speaking of prescriptions, so that little tool that takes the outer shell off of a manufacturer's bottle, turning it from a childproof cap to an easy open, you know what I call that? A decapitator. Oh, yeah, that was a great one. Hey, listen, you're ever too shy to come on a big time radio show and podcast. I totally get that, but I still want to help you out. That's why you need to go to commando.com, and then there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. Once again, that's commando.com with a K, and hit that link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you guys and gals send me over at commando.com. Again, that link at the top is Ask Kim. All right, still to come, what I've done with my family, and I think you need to do this too here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, there's one simple thing that we can do as families to make sure that everybody's safe. With today's phones, I recommend that every family have a secret code just in case they're in trouble. Texting an emoji is inconspicuous and it's super fast. It's much better than, say, if you're in a situation where you're like, pick up your phone, you dial a number, and then you've got to talk to somebody. What you want to do is pick one that's easy to remember and something that you don't use often. Maybe it's a tree or an owl, or maybe it's a crescent moon. And also be sure that location services such as Find My on your iPhone is activated, and the same thing on an Android. What you want to do is then sit down and have a heart-to-heart with the kids and family members, not a quick chat, an in-depth talk, and always agree to use this special code if there's ever trouble. It's peace of mind for you, and it's safety for them. Hey, join over 650,000 folks who get my free newsletter. Sign up now at getkim.com.